Well, hello viewers. This is our review of the Sig Sauer P220 pistol, P220. This is a full-size combat pistol, chambered in 45 ACP, built by Sig Sauer in Germany. And this particular one is an older pistol. This one is from the early 1990s. So go ahead and start this by clearing the weapon. As you can see, magazine is empty, as is the gun. This is what's considered to be a gray box SIG. It's from the early 1990s. Just wanted to show off the case for a moment. It comes in a nice plastic hard case, and when you bought this pistol years ago, you'd get the amongst the other literature, you'd get the Sig Sauer owner's manual, and these are the original grips that the gun came with. I've heard these called pebble grips, but this is sort of the second generation. The original 220 came with sort of a Bakelite, really hard plastic that were checkered, and then these are the second generation. They're sort of pebbled. I actually like these grips a lot. They're very nice. They feel great on your hand. They are a little bit slick, but overall very high quality. What I've got on there right now is I've got a set of Hogue grips on there, and these are the Hogue rubberized grips with the finger grooves, and I just like the way that feels. So give you kind of a little scanned in view of the pistol here, a little close-up action. This particular gun, as I said, is an early gun. It is a made in Germany gun. This means that it was manufactured after the reunification of Germany in 1988, it was made completely in Germany, every piece of it. One of the unique things about this pistol is, or one of the ways you can tell sort of the difference between the newer pistols and the older ones, is this one has what's called a stamped slide on it. And what that means is that this is a carbon steel slide. It started its life out as a flat piece of metal. It was stamped in an enormous hydraulic press, and then the front cap and the back cap were welded on by a craftsman, and then it was hand fitted to the gun. And that's one of the reasons why on these particular guns, if you take them and you try and check the slide to frame fit, it is normally extremely tight and very, very nice. Also, if you look here on some of them where the finish is almost completely worn off, you'll be able to see the seam where they were welded on, but on this one you really can't. Beautifully done. So I'll go over the controls with you and some of the other features on this pistol. Controls on the SIG pistol are very, very simple. You've got your magazine release here, trigger. The back lever here is for your slide stop and slide release. This is your decock lever and your takedown lever. So one of the cool things about the SIG pistol is the P-Series pistols is the decock lever. And the way that works is when you chamber around in the pistol, of course it's a double single action pistol, hammer is back, and it allows you to safely drop the hammer, as you can see. It never contacts the firing pin, so you don't have to do the old thumb release like you used to have to on other pistols, especially in .45 caliber. This particular pistol is equipped with what they call the bar dot sights. As you can see why. Bar dot. They are nice and clean. They're very easy to use, very easy to pick up, and nice long sight radius, so very accurate pistol. It is a large, heavy pistol. It's a full-size combat gun. One of the things about this pistol is it's fairly narrow for a SIG pistol because it does have a single stack magazine, and So it does have a great, for me anyway, I've got a pretty big hand, but it does have a great hand feel when you're holding it and shooting it. I do like it. So let's talk about some of the pros and cons about the gun, and give you guys kind of a full view of it. So one of the things to talk about with any SIG pistol is obviously the build quality of the gun. Right here, build quality is extremely high. These are pricey guns. They were pricey new. They retain their value very well, and there's a reason for it, and it's because even the older SIGs with very, very high round counts tend to be phenomenal pistols. And from time to time, you may have to swap out or update a spring or something small, but very rarely, because they're worn out. I mean, these pistols are very long-term purchase as far as a handgun is concerned. Number two, extremely reliable. Again, as long as you're shooting quality ammunition, this particular pistol has had thousands and thousands of rounds through it with no malfunctions. It'll just gobble up ammo, and it is extremely accurate. Whenever you shoot this pistol, I'm always amazed. It can take an average shooter and make them look like a pro. The one thing I would tell you about it, obviously it is a true double action, single action pistol. So your first trigger pull out of the holster is going to be fairly long, 9 to 10 pound double action pull. However, the trigger is beautifully smooth. It's really nice. Once that goes off and the gun cycles, it has got a very light reset, and come back out there, and the trigger is reset, and then from there about a 3 to 4 pound very crisp single action pull. And the gun has very, very low felt recoil for a 45 auto. Obviously big pistol cartridge, and in the hand it feels wonderful. And I think one of the last advantages is, the 45 ACP cartridge that this gun is chambered in. Some of the very earliest SIG P220s were chambered in 9mm as well as 45 automatic. For the record, if you do find one, a 9mm P220, go ahead and gobble it up. They're becoming collector's items, and especially a nice one if you see it with the box and everything. This one is really more of a workhorse, but they're becoming more and more rare. Obviously, you'll find a newer version which is going to have the milled slide that's been machined out of steel, and it'll have the rail on it. That's the current version of the P220 that you'll find if you go down and buy a new one. So let's talk about some of the disadvantages of the Sig Sauer P220. Got them right here. And the first one would probably be the size. This is a big, heavy pistol. It's got to weigh every bit of 2 pounds. And, just in overall dimensions, it is a big, full-size combat pistol. I do know some people that will carry these concealed. I don't have the build or the belt line in order to be able to afford to give up that much space. The second one is the weight. Again, this is this is not a polymer pistol. This is a solid steel and aluminum pistol, and it is heavy. Ironically, the stamp slide guns actually weigh a little bit less than the machine slide guns, and yet they're still heavy. If you do carry it in a holster, you will feel it. These are issued as duty guns to a lot of police officers over the years, and it's a big, heavy pistol to carry for a 12-hour shift in a holster. So that is one thing to be aware of. And the last thing is magazine capacity. This particular one has this is a Gen 1 magazine for the P220. It holds seven rounds. The updated version holds 8. The current P220 holds 8. So that's 7 plus 1, 8 rounds of 45 auto in the gun. Or if you have the newer magazine, 8 plus 1, so 9. In the world of high capacity 9mm and 40 caliber pistols, and even high capacity 45 autos like the Glock 21 and the XDs and that type of thing, it doesn't hold a lot of ammunition. Now the advantage is the magazine is nice and thin and light. It's very 1911-esque if you compare them. They're not interchangeable, but very 1911-esque. So when you do have a fully loaded magazine, if it does go in a mag pouch on a gun belt or something like that, very thin, very elegant magazine. And of course, back in the gun, very nice. One of the advantages of having that single stack mag is the grip width is very narrow, and so it does have a great hand feel. And so anyway, so that's the pistol itself. Very nice overall. Again, new models are great. I'm kind of an old school Sig guy. I like I prefer the older models. You'll find that out with me as you look at some of my guns. So, but very nice, and a great buy if you find one out there on the pre-owned market. So, highly recommend it. Anyway, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up. I appreciate it. If you have any questions about the gun or anything about that I can talk to you about, please let me know. Remember, this is just for entertainment purposes. I'm not a gun expert, just a gun nut. So, talk to you later. Thanks so much.